All right, today we're going to take a look at radiator supports. I have two of them, and this one appears to have been painted at one point. They both appear to be OEM. They get the signs of age. Looks like this one was blasted at one time and painted. It's got a couple of spots that aren't quite right. I'd have to repair. I don't know what this is from, and this hole isn't supposed to be there. But it's clearly been painted. You can see the runs, but it doesn't look horrible. It actually looks fine. It's not bent or anything. A couple of, like, there's a ding right there, but I could pound that out pretty easy. So, not bad. And I've got a hood latch for that one right there too. Then I have this setup, which this looks OEM. Again, another hood latch. This one has the valance on it with the directionals. And it also has this plate, which, if I'm not mistaken, according to Louis, that was for the 400 the HO package. The HO package came with this plate on the bottom to help keep air directed onto the radiator. So, gonna save that, obviously. I'll pull that out and work it out flat, get it, there's a few little things that need to be worked out on that, and of course this bottom edge is a little rough, but I can flatten that right out. I'm not worried about that at all. That's you can buy those new, but I can certainly save that for the money it would take to replace it. Lower valance, yeah, she's not great. She needs a little love. It's got some bends in it, but I'm not sure I would use that at all anyway, just because. But the inner radiator support certainly looks savable, so I'm going to strip this down, get everything off it, compare the two, and see which one is in best condition. Then I'll sandblast that and go ahead and work it up. And this one actually still has the windshield wash bracket on it, a couple of horns, some wiring even. So I'm going to carefully take this apart and put the pieces away, save what I need. I mean, these all seem to be in good shape. I think I just have to replace the lenses, but the bodies seem good. So again, parts that I don't think they're particularly hard to come by, but it's always best to use the OE stuff when you can. So yeah, that's my plan for today. I'm going to pull this apart, see which one's better, go ahead and sandblast the one I like, and then I'll sell the other one. They both appear to be in pretty good shape, with the exception of that one little hole up there that could be easily patched. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna work that today. Since I'm motor's ready, body's ready, waiting for the frame. So I figured I'd start hauling some stuff out of storage and just prepping a few things. And yeah, we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. All right, so I took and sandblasted the radiator support and the lower valance baffle. These were only available on HO cars and AC cars, and they were meant to deflect a little more air up through the radiator. I will get into that a little more when I show you where it goes and how it attaches. So I cleaned those up, got them working. There was a little weird dent in here, so I sanded it, and it's not, I'm gonna resand that because I'm kind of seeing some break edges here still. But anyway, flatten that out, get all that done. Then I started stripping just the bumpers. Here's the rear bumper. Here's something you don't see every day, fellas. Anybody needs a trailer hitch for their 67, 68 Firebird, I got one. It's a rare piece. It's custom. Pretty cool though. Somebody was actually towing a trailer with this car. That's the rear bumper. I've pulled the brackets off. I'll show you those in a minute. And I've just been kind of going through, and I have a master kit for the bolts, but whenever I find bolts that are still in good shape, I tend to process them anyway just to keep them, because you never know when you need one odd bolt, or you lose one, or didn't come in the master kit. So what I do, which is, you know, easy way, I just bought one of these cheap tumblers from Harbor Freight. Put some of the Purple Power in there. I tried it with lacquer thinner and mineral spirits. Don't do that. It swells up the seals and made a mess. So I backed off to a non-VOC, and you can see I just throw screws in there, put it on a timer, turn it on for 8 hours when I leave at night, so I don't have to listen to it. But generally it works pretty good. You can see that plastic media in there just basically rotates and tumbles everything. Now, some advice. Oops. Get one of these. Finding stuff when it's in here is a pain in the ass. So by using this, you can literally just swim around in there and it'll pull up whatever, you know, any ferrous materials that are in there, anything magnetic. Now, if you put in small aluminum screws like I did, you may never see them again. But, you know, for the most part, that works pretty good. I can pull parts out. I can, you know, then I'll take them over here. I'll quickly flush them off with some lacquer thinner in a small bucket. You see I got some going in here right now. Clean them up, then I just put them on a box and spray them. Just spray them with epoxy, the rattle can epoxy. So it works for me. Like I said, for whatever I have for small parts, that's what I do. I also threw in some of these smaller bumper brackets into the tumbler overnight, and they cleaned up pretty good. I mean, I'm still going to sandblast these, but they are much closer to being ready for paint than they were before I threw them in there. So that does a nice job on small pieces too. I threw some carburetor parts in there one time for the 55 pickup, the one barrel Rochester. Be a little careful of that. The bodies came out beautifully clean, but some of the white metal, the casting they use on those is really soft, and I'm not convinced that I didn't wear some of it down a little bit. So just be careful of that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm basically just trying to get ahead of things, cleaning up small brackets, fixing bolts. Again, the frame for the unibody should be ready in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So again, I'm just trying to do whatever I can around the shop. So right now I'm dealing with radiator supports, bumper parts, and other things. So I have set here, these are the original OEM inner fender panels. Now, this gets a little confusing. I looked through online at all the manufacturers. The only people that show a separate part number for Firebird versus Camaro is Classic Industries. These are not that bad. I could sandblast these if I wanted to take the time and clean those up, and I could probably rehab those pretty decent. The only thing different that I've been learning here is you have to cut this section out right here. So you come up that little lip and straight out, and the 2 holes that mount it to the bottom of the radiator support are right here. But that is what you would have to do to trim a Camaro one to fit a Firebird, and that is because of these, what they call the boomerang brackets. So that makes room for this end of that bracket to come up off the frame. So that's why it is the way it is. I'm after learning about it, I'm not worried about taking Camaro ones and modifying them, although I have heard some stories that the reproduction ones don't fit nearly as well as the old ones. So I'm gonna sell these eventually. I don't know if I'm gonna hold on to them until after I get the new ones or what I'm gonna do at this point, but I've had some interest in them on Marketplace and whatnot. That's a top filler, bumper filler. That one was, somebody kind of hacked it. I don't know why, but that's been kind of butchered. So I do have another one. And then these are the fenders. These are actually in really good shape too. I didn't realize just how good. One of them has a little patch right in here. I think it's the other one on the back side. Just there was a small hole here. But those would clean up pretty nicely. It looks like somebody tried to chemically strip them, and that's why they got that weird look to them. But, you know, media blasted or dipped, these things would clean up good. So I'll eventually either use those as well or move them on to somebody that can use them, help somebody out. So yeah, that's what I got. And that down there, of course, is the under drive shaft convertible brace and the cross member. So I just been pulling some stuff out of storage here and starting to work out what I'm going to use, what I'm not going to use, and just rehabbing some small parts. So that's it for now. I know this isn't a terribly exciting one, but you can kind of see what I'm into here. I mean, this is the front bumper, obviously. This is cracked, so these grill inserts will have to be replaced. I don't know what kind of shape these are really in until I get them out and inspect them nicely. But you can see they've got a few little, someone's done some rework on them. So, you know, those will probably come out too, and I'll just replace them. They're not terribly expensive, and it's just, you know, it's nice. You don't want to have your headlights rattling around. But these don't seem that bad. I mean, all the plastics in them and all that. So again, I'm going to pull all the brackets off, sandblast everything, epoxy stuff, so that when I'm ready to start fitting up the main portion of the body, I'm ready. So yeah, that's basically it for right now. If you got any questions or comments, just comment down below. Check it out.